The man who prosecutors say committed all 4 of the Seminole Heights murders is facing a possible death sentence. But before the trial begins, lawyers for Howell Donaldson III want him to be evaluated by experts to determine if he is mentally competent to go on trial. Nightside's Josh Dorowitz is here. Josh, the public is anxious to move this case forward and see justice, but this is going to take a little time.
It is, and let's be clear too, it's not unusual to test a defendant's competence in a case like this, but many of you question, well, how does someone decide if you're fit to stand trial? I asked an attorney for that answer.
I think the biggest thing to defense attorneys are, can they help in their own defense?
That is one point out of several a court-issued psychologist would look for Donaldson to understand to determine if he is fit for trial. Under Florida law, a defendant also must understand the crimes they're accused of committing, the charges they are facing, and the basics of just how the legal process works. It is a determination that will take months to complete, but don't mistake a finding of Donaldson to be incompetent to mean he would walk free.
It's quite literally pause the prosecution.
Instead, he would be sent off to a state hospital for treatment and down the road could be declared competent.
You come back and you face the charges against you.
And important too, don't confuse this with an insanity plea,
Right.
which is much different. That's an actual defense here. And that said too, earlier this year, the Hillsborough State Attorney did say that his office saw no reason to believe that Donaldson is insane in this case.
Those of you who are on Facebook Live tonight, remember we talked about this process and how the law in Florida works, limiting the number of doctors who can do this evaluation.
Yeah, it's up to 3 here in Florida. And it is possible too that even if he is found competent here in his mental state, lawyers could come back later on down the road and actually ask for another motion here for him to be evaluated once again in this.
Not final. All right,
No.
Josh, thank you. And if they did that, it would be wildly unpopular in the court of public opinion. Tonight you said that, Susan, you think it'll be an obvious yes. He was smart enough to get away with 4 murders before being arrested. If he was competent, you say, he would have been caught sooner. Sue, you had a little different take on this. No person who kills innocent living beings is mentally stable, but it is no excuse not to pay the price for the crime. And Eric, you're talking like a prosecutor. The way he tried to dispose of the gun just screams he knew what he did. And issues like the capacity to know what he was doing at the time would be part of an insanity defense at trial. This process, though, is just about whether or not he is fit to stand trial.